This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the Daily FX Forum.
So here are the 5 pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, the Euro Swiss, as well as the Euro Aussie. So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. First chart is the Euro Pound. That short trade from 88.23 continues. Keep that stop at 88.75. Now, actually looking at this short term, and there's a possibility some of you out there might not be in this trade, I would have a bearish bias against the high of the last candle here, which is 87.97. Prices actually took out these highs over here by just a few pips. So again, I would have a bearish bias against that high. I might look for an entry, maybe another 15 pips or so to the upside. So that'd be short 87.75 with a stop, let's call it 88.10. So again, that would be short 87.75 with a stop at 88.10, but hopefully you're in that original ideal entry at 88.23. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi, and prices actually did take out, let me get this to where this channel line where it was originally. Prices did trigger the short trade from 126.40, and I would just keep that stop at 127.10. So hopefully you should all be in this trade, and prices right now at 126.43. So if you're not in this trade, I would go ahead and just enter it right now again with a stop at 127.10. The next chart is the Pound Swiss, and not much has changed here. As I mentioned during the last report, we did exit that short trade from 170.25 or 170.30, depending exactly where you entered, with about a 275 pip gain. After I did speak, prices did spike up pretty violently and then actually came all the way back down. So at the end of the day, absolutely nothing changed. So hopefully you were all able to get out safely. And I would just now stay on the sidelines, as I really don't see anything favorable setting up in terms of risk to reward. The next chart is the Euro Swiss, and again, we were stopped out on that long trade idea, long 146.90 with a stop at 146.30. Prices actually, and this is similar to the Pound Swiss chart, violent spike upwards and then also to the downside as well, leaving behind, I don't know what you call this, maybe a borderline doji candle, but I'm just going to stay on the sidelines now, as price action has been extremely calm, coupled with moments of extreme violence. It's very hard to manage my risk, so I'm just going to stay on the sidelines now and wait for more favorable risk reward entries. The next chart is the Euro Aussie, and again, that short trade from 58.75 with a stop originally at 160, but I did move it down during the last report to 159.75. Did trigger. We were waiting for this trade for a few weeks, and again, I still like the way this looks. If you did not enter that trade, I might go ahead and have a short bias against the longer term resistance line here, but I'd require prices to actually come up and kiss the line and then maybe place a stop 50 to 75 pips above the line. But hopefully, if you were listening to my reports for the past several weeks, you were all able to get in that trade again, which was short from 158.75 with a stop at 159.75. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the Daily FX Forums. I want to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all to the Daily FX Forums. I want to go through the process of how I personally access the forums and how maybe you at home, if you want to access the forums in the future, might do so. The first thing you would do is go to www.dailyfx.com, and that will bring up, obviously, dailyfx.com, and usually there on the upper right hand corner, I'll go ahead and click on where it says forum, and that will bring up the first page of the forums. And this view, I personally don't use this view, but this view actually shows you the most recent posts on all the threads within the different sections, and a little detail about those posts, so you can read through and see if there's something catches your interest. But personally, I go ahead and just click on forums and view them in the more traditional sense. Now, these are different threads within the forum. There's a section on education, such as Daily FX course instructor tips, which would be good for newer traders, and then for more advanced traders. And I just want to go ahead, personally, the way I use the forums is I would go through the individual threads, just looking for trade ideas, maybe looking at charts, looking at certain lines that maybe I didn't put up on my chart, but another trader might have put up on their chart. I tend to, shy away from using direct trade recommendations from other forum members, but it helps me to sort of even out my analysis, make sure that I'm seeing things, with the right mind in terms of, I might be missing stuff that other traders can see, and that's my personal way of using the forum. Every trader is going to be a little bit different in how they use it. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to become an active participant of the members, you would have to go ahead and register. So that's what I'm going to go through now, is the registration process. So assuming you're brand new to the forums, or maybe you've been here a few times and you're not really sure how it works, so I just want to walk through again the registration process. This would be the front page where you would access, or the previous page. You'd have the same little box here on the left hand side. Obviously, my username and password are already filled out here, but assuming you're a new member, you would click on where it says register, and that will bring up the registration page. If you give me one moment here while my browser loads. And actually first we're going to have some terms of service and DailyFX forum rules. I do suggest reading through the forum rules. Obviously, profanity and spam and things like that are not allowed, but it also gives you insight on how to use the forum and how different traders can use it in terms of their individual needs. So you would go down to the bottom there, you'd click on where it says I have read all the rules, and then you would go ahead to the register the formal registration page, and that will bring up here. And you can go ahead and select the username, and how about we'll use 4x, and that name is already in use, so maybe add a few more x's there. Again, it really, your individual username is up to you, and you go ahead and fill in your password, your email address. Now, the most difficult aspect of registration for the DailyFX forums will be figuring out these letters in the box here. Now, I'm a semi-intelligent person, but I have a very difficult time figuring out which letters and numbers to use. Now there is a reason for this madness. It helps with security, but I would suggest just going ahead and keep on clicking that refresh image until something comes through that you can actually identify and see. Then you can go ahead and enter your birthday, but you can decide whether or not to display that to other forum members. And then also, if you were referred by somebody, you can enter that information there. The time zone, that should default to your computer, but you should double check and make sure. And then you can opt in, and I would suggest opting in for these emails in terms if the administrators want to go ahead and send you some notices about the forum, and then you would complete registration. Now what happens is they would send you an email to the email address that you put up here, and that email will include a link, and all you would have to do is go ahead and click on that link, and that link will bring you inside the forum, and you would now be a member of the DailyFX forums. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening.